welcome to Kush News, the newscast of the African diaspora. As always, I'm your anchor, Ochanda, daily bringing you the top stories from Africa and the Caribbean. Let's look at today's stories from Thursday, March 30th, 2023. We start off in Kenya. Security was tight with police in riot gear patrolling the capital of Nairobi after fierce clashes had erupted during protests that were similar to Monday. On Thursday, dozens of people in the congested Nairobi neighborhoods of Mathare and Kibra, aka Kibera, number 9, engaged police in running battles, throwing rocks and burning tires while officers responded with tear gas. Opposition leader Raila Odinga and his bastions of Kisumu and Homa Bay in western Kenya, protesters also hurled rocks at police and lit bonfires in the middle of the road in those cities. Odinga has called for protests every Monday and Thursday, accusing President William Ruto of stealing last year's election and failing to control the surging costs of living. He stated, quote unquote, Kenyans must get justice, we will not relent. And many waving green foliage in the sign of a peaceful demonstration. He also added that the cost of living is rising every day and we're not going to keep quiet. We are telling Ruto that Kenyans are tired. Demonstrations declared illegal by the government had been much more violent on previous days, with police firing tear gas, water cannons, and occasionally live bullets while looters went on rampage. 2 civilians so far have been killed and 51 police officers and 85 civilians have been injured. The international community and religious leaders have appealed for calm, voicing fears of repeat from the 2007-2008 post-election violence that claimed the lives of more than 1,100 people. In a statement Wednesday, 8 foreign embassies, including the U.S. and British, called on all leaders and all Kenyans to maintain peace, show restraint, and work towards a swift resolution for the common good of Kenya. The African Union also appealed on Tuesday for calm and political dialogue to end the chaos. Ruto, who was back in Kenya after a trip to Germany and Belgium, had warned his compatriots earlier this week that they must abide by the law. On Wednesday, Interior Minister Kithure Kindiki said anyone inciting public disorder or disturbing the peace would face prosecution. Many Kenyans struggling to put food on the table, battling high prices of goods, as well as a plunging local currency and record drought has left millions hungry and facing desperation. Inflation was running at a high of 9.2% in February, with food inflation at about 13.3%. The Central Bank of Kenya on Wednesday raised its benchmark leading rate to 75 basis points to 9.5. During the campaign for the August election, William Ruto portrayed himself as the champion of the downtrodden and vowed to improve the lot of ordinary Kenyans. But he has since removed subsidies for fuel and maize flour, a dietary staple known as ugali. And last week's Kenya's energy regulatory body announced that there will be a hike in electricity prices. Also to add, opposition leader Raila Odinga has claimed that his vehicle convoy was shot at 7 times in an attempt to end his life. He also met with Kibera Nubian leaders and asked for Ruto to face him face to face and to talk about the things that he is requesting instead of going to Europe to talk to them. Those in Kenya, let us know. It looks like maadamano is just not on Monday, but on Thursdays as well. And who knows, maybe it will be kila siku, aka every day. Let us know here at Kush News. Let's go ahead and keep going on to Uganda. A contingent of 1,000 troops departed Uganda on Wednesday, heading to the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Ugandan troops will be operating under the regional East African Community Force that includes Burundi and Kenya. Hundreds of residents on both sides of the border between Uganda and the DRC have attended the flag-off ceremony. Uganda's contingent is led by Colonel Michael Hairoba. In his speech at the ceremony, he said that we are going as ambassadors of peace to Congo. We're prepared, we're trained, and we're ready for the task, he ended his comment. The East African Community Force is meant to contain M23 rebels who started attacks on Congo army positions in June of last year and occupied several areas. Formed back in 2012, the group attacked Congo and was overpowered by government troops. Those in Congo, those in Uganda, let us know what's going on the ground. We're here. Let's keep it going and go to West Africa, Niger. President-elect Bola Tinubu yesterday described his election as the incoming president of Nigeria as the greatest gift to him by the Nigerian people, and therefore could not request anything else on his birthday. He declared that his campaign promises were not words merely, but a support, and that he represented his bond and it binds him to the task of creating a better Nigeria. This is as Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, governors of the All Progressive Congress Leadership Party, and other stakeholders have facilitated with the president-elect on his 71st birthday, and with best of wishes. Tinubu, in a statement yesterday, said that while this was his first birthday as president-elect, he recalled that a few weeks back, Nigerians gave him the honor of a lifetime by electing him as the next president. He said that with such privilege already granted to him, he would not go as far as to suggest that he may do any more birthday presents this year, because he has already been given the greatest gift. In a statement, Osinbajo, who served as the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice when Tinubu was governor of Lagos State from 1999 to 2007, stated that today's occasion is unique as it occurs as you prepare to take on your most significant assignment as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has said that the emergence of Tinubu as president-elect was a result of the support of the masses, saying that the mighty placed a lot on the obstacles of his way, but that he prevailed miraculously. We thank God, though, for having his birthday in the month of Ramadan, and that God has chosen him as the president-elect. A lot of obstacles were placed in his way, so prayers are essential. And by the special grace of God, we believe that Asiwaju will perform well. It's the masses that voted for him, and the mighty stood against him. President Tinubu's government is set to go into effect in May, and the incoming Tinubu's government also need to leverage the World Bank portfolio to invest in capital such as basic education, primary health. There is a need to increase technical assistance from the IMF and the World Bank to encourage gender-based budgeting introduced under Buhari's government, and also a social inclusion, which the Tinubu's government cannot do any less of. Those in Nigeria, again, congratulations on your president-elect. Let us know how you feel. Drop a comment below. And let's end today's top stories with the Caribbean. Go to Antigua. Hopes of finding more survivors from Tuesday's boating tragedy dwindled Wednesday as family members urged the authorities in Antigua and Barbuda and St. Kitts and Nevis to immediately release the names of those who survived, so to give them closure. The Antigua and Barbuda government has said that it will launch a full investigation into the circumstances which led to the sinking of a 30-foot vessel where several local and African nationals were aboard in the early hours of Tuesday. The vessel sank about 40 miles northwest of Antigua and 12 nautical miles south of Conakry in St. Kitts. The Chief of Defensive Staff of the Antigua and Barbuda Defense Force, Colonel Telbert Benjamin, said that the vessel went down in relatively deep water, so recovery might be a bit of a challenge, quote unquote. Relatives of those who so far survived the ordeal have been calling on local media outlets and urging authorities in St. John and Basseterre to release the names of those who survived as to put their minds at ease. One Cameroonian national who lives in Germany told outlet in Antigua that his brother Verdo was among the 32 people aboard on the French registered vessel, and the government said that he had departed illegally from another place. He said that he had last communicated with his brother when he was informed that he'd be leaving for the United States on Monday night, and he told the radio station that he was quite well aware of the trip and that the trip would be risky. My brother left Cameroon, he said, on his way to U.S., so he arrived in Antigua and he left yesterday on a boat, which was supposed to take him to the United States. But I don't know what's happened. I'm very concerned. Any information, and I don't know whether he's dead or alive. I will be grateful. Me and my family need to know if anyone else knows anything. We'll be very, very grateful. His brother is among the hundreds of Cameroonian refugees fleeing a 5-year war in the country's eastern Anglophone region who have traveled to Antigua and Barbuda in recent months via charter flights, which were allowed from the Nigerian capital of Lagos. Prime Minister of Antigua, Baston Brown, has said that it is widely known that his Antigua and Barbuda government have been making every effort to be helpful to these brothers and sisters from Africa who were marooned in Antigua, including granting them residence and the opportunity to work. He also stated that first, the first is that the Africans on board of the vessel wanted to leave Antigua and Barbuda for another country. The second is that owners of the operation of the vessel transported and facilitated their journey illegally. My government will launch a full-length investigation into the circumstances into this unlawful and dreaded affair. It is just terrible. It's just terrible that most of them went to the airport and they did not allow them to pass through the airport. So instead, they took this route. Unfortunately, there will be no more survivors if the weather continues to be extremely rough. There had been no safety gear. He said that some of the passengers had slipped off the boat and were unable to swim. Those in Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Cameroon, let us know how, again, Kush News can help. The least that we can do is to try to get awareness out there. We end today's newscast with, you guys already know, the African proverb of the day. I know it's your guys' favorite, huh? And it comes to us from no particular African nation, and it reads, I receive blessings from every lesson. Once again, I receive blessings from every lesson. Wow. How many of you guys out there are receiving blessings? Get your blessings! Let me know your interpretation of today's African proverb of the day, as well as your views, comments, and concerns on today's top stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Again, like and subscribe to be made aware on each and every time that we drop an episode, which is every single day. For Kush News on Kush Convos TV, I'm Ochanda. We'll see you next time.